He would just tell us that this particular character is feeling like this in this particular moment.
First of all, I was very reluctant to go into it at all because, you know, I had that middle-class inhibition against being on the screen, though I had acted on the stage, but that was non-professional stage, of course. I didn't like the role either, because the role in Pothir Panchali, his first film in which I was, it was the role of a village wife. But when I started working with him, it was absolutely different. I got so much involved in it and inspired by the team spirit, you should say. I never felt anything was forced on me. The genuineness of the atmosphere and his direction as well. You know, as a director, he wouldn't, he would just describe the particular scene or the emotion he wants me to do. And would just stand by and see how I can do it. So I also felt that I was contributing to the creation, to his creative efforts.
Second time when you went there, you were offered with the role?
না সব রকমই যদি প্রথমে স্বাধীনতা দেন তারপরে যদি না পারেন
She says that he gives you entire liberty to perform in the beginning. He interferes only when you make a mistake or he wants to guide you or correct you in some direction.
To serve as a sales girl in a respectable firm.
What's wrong with using a little lipstick? You put red here, why not here?
তোকে এভাবে যে কষ্ট ভোগ করতে হবে আমি ভাবিনি।
কি কষ্ট বাবা? কে আমাকে চাকরিতে পাঠিয়েছে? কেউ তো পাঠায়নি, আমি নিজে চাকরি নিয়েছি। আর তাছাড়া আমার খুব ভালো লাগছে। পাচ্ছ না চিনতে? ঠিক করে বলো তো।
একটু যেন অচেনা অচেনা।
I once made a film called The Goddess, Devi. It dealt with religious dogmatism. It didn't attack religion as such. It attacked dogmatism, the extreme form of religion. But people were writing in the papers that, oh, because Mr. Ray is not a Hindu, he was a Brahmo, he's making such films against Hinduism and all that. But they are stupid people, you can't take them into account. This happens in India all the time. And people don't, we have a fairly backward audience here, I must say, in spite of the film society movement and all that. If you consider the large audience, it's a backward audience, unsophisticated audience, exposed to the commercial Hindi cinema more than anything else. And so, you face this problem, but you make the kind of films, I make the kind of films that I want to make. I make the kind of films that I enjoy making, that engages my attention, my creativity. That's all I can do.
Satyajit Ray, the man I believe used to smell like art. He was born on the 2nd of May 1921 in Kolkata to one of the leading writers, Mr. Sukumar Ray, and Mrs. Suprabha Ray. Satyajit Ray's ancestry can be traced back to at least 10 generations. The earliest recorded ancestor of the Ray family was Ramsundar Deo, Deb, born in the middle of the 16th century. He was a native of Chakta village in Nadia district of present-day West Bengal, India, and migrated to Sherpur in East Bengal. He became the son-in-law of the ruler of Jashodal and was granted a jagir, a feudal land grant, at Jashodal, in present-day Kishoreganj district of Bangladesh. His descendants migrated to the village Masua in Katiadi Upazila of Kishoreganj district in the first half of the 18th century. Satyajit Ray's grandfather, Upendrakishore Ray, was born in Masua village in 1863. Upendrakishore Ray was a writer, illustrator, philosopher, publisher, amateur astronomer, and leader of the Brahmo Samaj, a religious and social movement in 19th century Bengal. He set up a printing press named U. Ray and Sons. Sukumar Ray, Upendrakishore's son and father of Satyajit, was an illustrator, critic, and pioneering Bengali writer of nonsense rhyme, abol tabol, and children's literature. Social worker and children's book author Shukalata Rao was his aunt. Sukumar Ray died very early at the age of 35 when Satyajit was 2 years old. Ray grew up in the house of his grandfather, Upendrakishore Ray Chowdhury, and of his printing press. He was attracted by the machines and process of printing from an early age and took a particular interest in the production process of Sandesh, a children's magazine started by Upendrakishore Ray Chowdhury.
যেমন মহানগরে কাজ হয়ে যাবার পর সত্যজিৎ রায় ওই সময় আমাকে একটা কথা বলেছিলেন, আবার কবে তোমার সঙ্গে ছবি করব। তা আমি এটা শুনে একটু বিস্মিত হলাম যে এই কথাটা তো আমার বলা কথা। সেটা উনি বললেন, আমি চুপ করেই থাকতাম, কারণ কথা আমি বেশি বলতে পারি না। তারপর চলে আসলাম, খুব বেশি দিন নয়, তারপরেই উনি আমাকে টেলিফোন করে বললেন যে নষ্ট নীড়টা পড়েছ, আমি নষ্ট নীড়টা পাঠাচ্ছি, ওটা পড়ো। তাই আমি বললাম হ্যাঁ ওটা পড়া আমার। বললো থাক আর একবার পড়ো। আবার নষ্ট নীড় নিশ্চয়ই উনি দিয়েছেন, আবার পড়লাম। Ray
studied at Baligunja Government High School in Calcutta and completed his BA in economics at Presidency College, Calcutta, then affiliated with the University of Calcutta. During his school days, he saw several Hollywood productions in the cinema. The works of Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd, Ernst Lubitsch, and movies such as The Thief of Baghdad and Uncle Tom's Cabin made a lasting impression on his mind. He developed a keen interest in Western classical music.
The cattle are prowling, the coyotes are howling, way out where the dog is bald. Where spurs are a-jingling, the cowboy is singing this lonesome cattle call.
His mother's persuasiveness and his respect for Tagore finally convinced him to get admitted there for higher studies in fine arts. In Santiniketan, Ray came to appreciate Oriental art. He later admitted that he learned much from the famous painters Nandalal Bose and Binode Bihari Mukherjee.
Has been blind in one eye from birth.
The Inner Eye.
The other eye, which was severely myopic, he lost 15 years ago at the age of 53. Binod Bihari has lived most of his life in Shantiniketan.
Satyajit invariably wanted to showcase his art in a distinctive way, and when he visited Ellora Caves and after witnessing such carvings on the wall and such art forms, he accepted he can't be the best in this art as already. India is further in this art form, so he chose to make films and sweat on the subject of moving frames, as he was convinced that India has not yet explored the fundamentals of proper cinema. And Ray knew he could somehow contribute in world through his magnificent Indian cinema. In 1943, Ray started working at DJ Keemer, a British advertising agency, as a junior visualizer. Here he was trained the Indian commercial art under artist Ananda Munshi, the then art director of DJ Keemer. Although he liked visual design, graphic design, and he was mostly treated well, there was tension between the British and Indian employees of the firm. The British were better paid, and Ray felt that the clients were generally stupid. In 1943, Ray started a second job for the Signet Press, a new publisher started by D.K. Gupta. Gupta asked Ray to create book cover designs for the company and gave him complete artistic freedom. Ray established himself as a commercial illustrator, becoming a leading Indian typographer and book jacket designer. Ray designed covers for many books, including Jibanananda Das's Banalata Sen and Rupasi Bangla, Bibhuti Bandyopadhyay's Chandar Pahar, Jim Corbett's Man-Eaters of Kumaon, and Jawaharlal Nehru's Discovery of India. In 1949, Ray married Bijoya Das, his first cousin and longtime sweetheart. The couple had a son, Sandeep Ray, a film director. In the same year, French director Jean Renoir came to Calcutta to shoot his film, The River. Ray helped him to find locations in the countryside. Ray told Renoir about his idea of filming Pather Panchali, which had long been on his mind, and Renoir encouraged him in the project. In 1950, DJ Keemer sent Ray to London to work at the headquarters. During his 6 months in London, Ray watched 99 films, including Alexander Dovzhenko's Earth, 1930, and Jean Renoir's The Rules of the Game, 1939. Ray later said that he walked out of the theater determined to become a filmmaker. After being deeply moved by Pather Panchali, the 1928 classic Bildungs Roman of Bengali literature, Ray decided to adapt it for his first film. Pather Panchali is a semi-autobiographical novel describing the maturation of Apu, a small boy in a Bengal village.
Shoot all the things in a village?
Yes. Not very far from Calcutta, actually. You can drive 10 miles out of the city and come to a village with no electricity. You know, it's quite an authentic village with nothing of the city about it.
How long did you shoot the film? How long did it take you to shoot all the exteriors?
Well, you see, the number of shooting days, I think, was 72 or 3 in all. But it was spread over a period of 3 years because we had no money for long stretches in between. And we were just waiting for the next installment of money from somewhere or other.
All the people who worked with you on the film were...
Well, the crew, they were all friends of mine, you see.
And have they worked in other films?
Well, the art director had some professional experience and the editor had some professional experience.
How about the cameraman?
But the cameraman was absolutely new. He was a young musician. He was a good friend of mine. He played the sitar. And I think he had done some still photography. Not as an amateur, you know. Just he happened to have a camera, that's all. But he was an ambitious young boy and he wanted to make a movie, if possible. I mean, he had watched Claude Renoir at work on the river. But of course that was color and the problems there were quite different and lighting, etc. absolutely different.
Did you have a lot to do with the design of every frame? Or was it more or less the
No, I don't like two sort of well-composed frames, you know. After all, generally you have panning shots and things, so composition in filmmaking is not quite the same as composition in painting, for instance. I think a too well-designed sort of frame, which makes you contemplate it for its own sake, is wrong. I mean, it's not serving its function properly, I think.
Were you satisfied with the work that was done on your film?
Yes, well, very large part of it I found it very satisfactory. Of course, I have my own dissatisfactions with certain aspects of it, but we did our best. We were not always able to do what we wanted.
Boss. Come on. কোথায় এলাম রে? ওগুলো কি রে? মা যদি
The Times of India wrote, "It is absurd to compare it with any other Indian cinema. Pather Panchali is pure cinema." Ray's international career started in earnest after the success of his next film, the second in the Apu trilogy, Aparajito, 1956, The Unvanquished. This film depicts the eternal struggle between the ambitions of a young man, Apu, and the mother who loves him. Upon release, Aparajito won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival, bringing Ray considerable acclaim. In a retrospective review, Edward Guthman of the San Francisco Chronicle praised Ray for his ability to capture emotions and blend music with storytelling to create a flawless picture. Director critics such as Mrinal Sen and Ritwik Ghatak rank it higher than Ray's first film. Ray directed and released two other films in 1958, the comic Parash Pathar, The Philosopher's Stone, and Jalsagar, The Music Room, a film about the decadence of the zamindars, considered one of his most important works. While making Aparajito, Ray had not planned a trilogy, but after he was asked about the idea in Venice, it appealed to him. He finished the last of the trilogy, Apur Sansar, The World of Apu, in 1959. Ray introduced two of his favorite actors, Sumitra Chatterjee and Sharmila Tagore, in this film.
কি হলো? রাগ? না দুঃখ? না অভিমান?
রাগ।
কেন?
আমি কি ট্রামে বসে চড়তে পারি না?
বড্ড ভিড় যে। এখানে কেমন একা আছি বলো তো?
কিন্তু খরচ হলে যে বেশি।
তো 7 আনা।
তবে?
কদিন পরই তো চলে যাবে। তখন যে খরচ অর্ধেক হয়ে যাবে।
সে তো 2 মাসের জন্য।
2 মাস কি কম হলো?
আর ফিরে এসে যে খরচ বাড়বে।
তা বাড়বে। জানো, আমি তোমাকে যেতে দিতে চাইনি, কিন্তু তোমার মা এমন করে লিখলেন, আর আমি ভাবলাম এ সময়টা
ভালোই তো, তুমিও হাঁপ ছেড়ে বাঁচবে। 2 মাসের জন্য তো নিশ্চিন্ত।
না, তবে একটা কাজ হবে, উপন্যাসটা এগিয়ে থাকবে। বিয়ের পর 1 লাইনও লিখিনি।
সে বুঝি আমার দোষ?
তোমার গুণ। আমার লেখা আমার কাছে কত বড় জানো? তুমি তার চেয়েও বড়।
সত্যি?
ওটা তোমায় উৎসর্গ করব।
কি স্বর্গ?
তোমায় ওয়াইফ।
ওয়াইফ মানে জানি।
তুমি জানো না, আমি জানি।
আমিও জানি।
কি
দেখলাম।
আচ্ছা, তোমার চোখে কি আছে বলো তো?
কাজল।
It opens with Apu living in a Calcutta house in near poverty. He becomes involved in an unusual marriage with Aparna. The scenes of their life together form one of the cinema's classic affirmative depictions of married life. Critics Robin Wood and Aparna Sen thought it was a major achievement to mark the end of the trilogy.